And the kids said, well, you've taught us to be leaders. You've taught us to be directors. Let us do it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 10th annual 1985 Summer National Championship.
And I speak without exaggeration. The kids taught every note of music. They held every sectional. They called their own sectionals. They held them without me being there. They taught the drill, and they went to the Pacific Coast Invitational and came in 4th in music and 6th overall. Now that's the people sitting in front of you.
Will you please stand now as the students from McGrath High School from Alberta, Canada, and volunteers play the Canadian National Anthem, followed by the Marine Drum and Bugle Corps.
But they've got to learn they have to earn trust. They have to earn respect. And being a section leader is not an honor. It's a position of service.
Our jobs, one of our jobs as section leaders, is to incorporate the idea of goals and goal setting into every member of our section so that they can achieve and progress and be a benefit to our band.
This is a rather unique situation. Let me just give an overview here of what's happening. Is that we're at the MBA camp, and we've had out here on the field a band of campers mixed from all kinds of schools, right?
Correct.
And what we did is intersperse the Spirit of Alberta section leaders in with that band, and they're a working part of the band as well as getting the drill that you have just written for them. This group of section leaders responded well and took the ball and really began teaching that whole concept.
Yeah. We were a little slow on the first one because we're, like getting the cobwebs out. They haven't worked with me before. I haven't worked with them before, and we had to do some things to get that clear. But the second move, I gathered them together. I said, okay, we'll do the second move. You do your thing. Okay, as soon as we get there, go. And they went and they did their thing, and we took it, followed it back. They did their thing. They're like on those guys like white on rice. So they're all over the band, like the manpower.
The commanders and the experienced section leaders can conduct with reasonable notice, such as 1 week, any piece of concert or band literature in the folders.
Yeah, it works great because I think the stuff I've used the stuff I've learned in band in other classes like goal setting. I've used it in English and I've used it in math, and it's helped me a lot. And so I suppose when I get out into the real world, I'll understand that I have to do things and I'll have to set goals if I want to get anywhere in life. And I think that's really great what we're doing.
It has given them responsibility that I am still learning as a parent.
But what they have learned here and the life skills, you can see the development as they grow. And the exciting thing is you see the carryover if you have younger children. And I really get a kick out of it when my 16-year-old, who's one of the we call them assistant commanders, starts using these skills on his 9- and 7-year-old brothers and sister.
Like the 1-minute manager, you mean?
You got it. He hasn't quite got it down at home yet, but he's working on it. But it does work, and it really helps him.
Hello, this is Larry McCormick. In our previous clinic and MTS program entitled Thinking Big for Small Bands, we watched Steve Brockway discuss how he coped with the problems he encountered in running a band in a school of less than 150 total students. He talked about the 3 major areas of consideration, including the budget or money, the talent pool, and the instruction pool. He showed us a bit of how he tackled the problems through maximizing the efficiency of the band in each of these areas. Much of his clinic centered around developing kids in the band as leaders who were capable of actually teaching and running the band. Steve's concept and experience in developing this method was so well received that we decided to bring him and his students back to give us the details and to show us live examples of this powerful program. So this is a series of programs in 3 parts where Steve demonstrates the techniques they use. You'll experience the extraordinary results of the program as you hear the students teach us about goal setting, praising, reprimanding, and the ABCs of leadership. Part 1 is the concept, the background, the problems of their school, how he cultivates and screens leaders, the job description of section leaders, and the benefits of the program. Part 2 is how we conduct regular leadership meetings. You'll see an actual simulated meeting with the students in front of a large group of band directors where they break down their method of passing out information, in-service training for leaders, and the principles of the report mechanism, which is the key to developing leaders. In Part 3, we'll receive a lesson from Steve's students on goal setting, praising, reprimanding, and the ABCs of leadership. For sure, you'll want your students to see this program as we witness the results through the powerful examples set by Steve's students.
It takes a long time for the kids to learn their roles. Now, these kids have all filled the shoes of role models, so they've learned their jobs much more quickly, and they're functioning at a much higher level than the first generation of section leaders. So what you're seeing now is the fruition of 5 years of building a section leader program. And in realistic time, if you've never done it before, I think you need to think in terms of three years to try to get it going so it's going smoothly. Now, if you have a fantastic relationship with your kids already, and I didn't, see, I came in cold turkey. And if you have a good thing going with your kids, you might be able to pull that time frame forward. But I had to get to know them, break the ice. They had a very, not these, but their older brothers and sisters had a very legitimate and strong loyalty to their previous band director, and I had to prove myself and all that stuff. So it took us 3 years to get it going. So again, to be redundant, you might be able to make it happen quite a bit faster. Sometimes, and we've talked about this, haven't we? Section leaders have tendencies to become little gods and goddesses. I'm a section leader. I'm the football captain. You know, that mentality. Now, nobody knows what I'm going to say to these kids next, but I want one of them, and I don't want to call on anybody, I want one of them to come up here and tell me what their job is as a section leader, based upon what we've just been saying.
My job as a section leader is to be their friend first and then to try and teach them something second. I can't go up there and just expect them to listen to me because I'm teaching somebody my own age that I've been going to school with for the last 3 years, and they're not going to listen to me as a teacher, they're going to listen to me as a friend. I have to have their trust before I can start showing them how to play their horn because they can probably play it as good as I can. I can't just go up there and say, all right, you guys, listen to me now, because I have the section leader name on my shoulders. It doesn't work that way.
Good. Did I ask you? I didn't pump that key word. How many of you heard it? I want to see a show of hands. How many heard the key word? Okay, what is it?
Trust.
Trust. Okay, thank you. Now, can I say to you, my little 8th grader, trust me? Can I really? Can I say, be loyal to me? Can I demand your loyalty? Can I demand your trust? No. I have to earn it, don't I? And I have to bleed for it. And these kids have to learn, and some of them already have, and some are in the process of learning, and they're all at different stages of evolution of this, and so am I. And my head's really going through it now and really changing and evolving. I'm not the teacher I was 5 years ago. I wonder where I'm going to be 5 years from now. But they've got to learn they have to earn trust. They have to earn respect. And being a section leader is not an honor. It's a position of service. And it's one that must be done in humility. Yeah, they're heroes. And yeah, they deserve credit for credit's where it's due. No doubt about that whatsoever. But if we program our section leaders to be little kings and queens, we're going to fail with our bands. If we program, we get our own heads on straight of what our jobs are, and we get them to be willing to serve, to sacrifice of their own time and their guts and their energies. You don't believe the amount of hours these kids put in that they don't have to do if they're not section leaders. And if we can get them to do it with the right reasons, with the right spirit, the band will click, number one, and you will have been of one vehicle, not the only one, but one vehicle which will have shaped eternal destinies and the destinies of children that you will never meet someday. Now that sounds like a bunch of educational bullcrap, but it's true. But it's true. The section leader meeting basically is on Tuesday for 1 hour. Okay? The section leader meeting on Tuesday is again, basically usually about 50 minutes.
What time of the day?
Noon. We have 1 hour noon breaks. We take the whole noon, kids bring their food in, and we eat and talk and work. Okay? Now, during this time, we do three things. Number one, it's an information swap time. This is what's coming up, this is the schedule, this is what we have to get accomplished, that sort of thing. Sometimes the whole meeting is just information. Sometimes that's all it is. Sometimes we just can't get anything else going. Okay? It's report time. We want a report, if we can get it, every week on every member of the band. Has the tutor made contact on schedule? Has the tutoring taken place? The tutor's to report to the section leader by Monday after school, so the section leader can report to the band at the band meeting. And every kid who's being tutored is reported on at that meeting, so we know, is the job getting done. Remember, if we deal in generalities and we say to you guys, hey, go out and have a section leader meeting, go out and tutor those kids and go out and do a good job, all we're doing is cheerleading and little is really accomplished. But when we deal in specifics, with specific assignments, and reporting is part of the mechanism, the level of performance skyrockets. Keep that idea in mind. Okay. Okay. Number three, in the section leader meeting, we have in-service. Okay? In-service is when we train the section leaders and the commanders on how to be section leaders and commanders. Okay, we have these nerds up here. They're heroes, actually. But anyhow, they're going to show us today, through a series of interactions, on exactly what we do within the context of training the section leader. And so we're going to do some role-playing today. The role-playing that we're doing is artificial. It will be artificial because we don't have our band here. But it will not deviate significantly from what really happens in our band room at home. And we've been instructed, keep it pretty close to truth. We told you yesterday we were going to do three things today. Basically, number one, we were going to talk about how we conduct our section leaders insofar as, number one, we pass out information. Number two, we deal with in-service training. And number three, we have a report mechanism on everybody in the band because everybody in the band is monitored. And everybody's progress is charted, recorded, reported, monitored, feedback, charted, reported, monitored, feedback, chart, and it's a circular spiral thing which hopefully is constantly helping every person redirect. Remember, I'm a half-time Spanish teacher. I'm a 1/8 time computer teacher, and I teach band 3 out of 8 periods a day, and I do not have a time at any time in the week when I can get my band together during school time. Our high school band, half of the kids cannot schedule in. They're in other classes. We do not have a time that's called band where the band kids meet together. So anytime we get together as a band, it has to be other than during the school day. So therefore, mother being the necessity of invention, and the necessity being the mother invention, I got that one backwards, we have to solve problems. A story I told you last year briefly. I was at the Guthrie Theater when I was getting my master's in theater, and I was starting to work on my doctorate, and I was taking a seminar with some of the finest technical theater people in the United States. And the guy opened up and he said, "Chris," turned to each of us, "Ray, define theater." And we all sat there not knowing what, trying to figure out what kind of answer the guy wanted. You know, have you ever had a teacher do that to you? He asks you a question and the game is to figure out what answer he wants. Well, we all tried and he said, "No, you're all wrong." He said, "Theater, anything in the performing arts, is problem solving. Theater is problem solving. Band directing is problem solving. Dance choreography is problem solving. Teaching kids Spanish is problem solving. Extending the concept." So this is part of the solution of our problem solving. Again, I'd like to repeat before we start today, and we're still in the introduction, that what we're doing now is different from what we did a year ago. And where we're going a year from now, who knows? Because the concept of the section leader evolves depending upon the ongoing dynamics as who's in what's role, who understands what level of understanding of what we're trying to do, where is each kid, and all that sort of thing. Okay, so let's get into it, and let's dig into it right now. I'm going to try to get a chair. Scott, would you move a chair over to the end for me? And we'll go right into a section leader meeting that we'll have, and we'll do a part of a section leader meeting. Then we'll stop for questions and take whatever questions you have. Then we'll do another part of a section leader meeting, and we do these once a week. We do them on Tuesdays. Sometimes we get hung up in one area and we don't cover everything and we have to do it next Tuesday. Sometimes our meetings are 30 minutes long and they're done. Sometimes we're past our 60-minute limit and kids are late to class, and that's fun. And we do all sorts of things. Okay, so let's start. First of all, we're going to do the information. Okay, let's set up a schedule, gang, for next week. We've got to get the band on the field and get things going. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of next week. We can't meet during school time because that's not when our band gets together. Okay, so this is before school, and let's start at 7, and you might call yours at 7:30 or 8. School starts for us at 9, by the way, but before 7 o'clock is too early. Okay, some of you are determined enough to get in there at 6, but we aren't. We're too lazy. Okay, and now noon hours, we get a whole hour, and we can play with that hour. And I know that many of you don't have that opportunity, and that's really nice for us. Okay, and then after school. And after school is basically from, I can't write and talk at the same time as the kids know, from 3:30 to 5:30 on the outside. And we may cut it short and the section leaders determine. We're in a section leader meeting. This is what happens. Okay, Tuesday at noon is section leader meeting. Okay, percussion, report please.
Can we have sectionals Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday?
When?
In the morning.
Okay, percussion, what time do you want to start?
7 o'clock.
Okay, guard, report please. Flags.
Okay, we want guard after school on Tuesday.
Guard after flags after school on Tuesday. Is that it?
And rifles after school on Wednesday.
Oh, rifles here on Wednesday. Okay. Now, this is not while we're getting ready for contest. This is January, February, March schedule we're working on right now. Okay. Concert band we take with whatever we have in the room at the time. We have 135 kids in marching band. We just did a concert with 42. Those are the only ones who could schedule into band. Okay, unfortunately, and that's another subject that I don't want to get into. Okay, let's see. Anybody else want to throw into, where should we pull the, are there conflicts that we need to avoid so that we can get full band in here at least once, preferably twice during the week? Can we call it on Wednesday, full band? Yeah. Okay, horn line on Wednesday. Any other comments? Yes?
Can I get up on Thursday, a French horn section?
When?
I mean,
Noon, horns?
uh-huh.
Okay, horns at noon on Thursday. Can we go horn line on Friday at noon, so we can get horn line twice next week? Are there conflicts? Okay, horn line goes in Friday. Anybody else want time next week into the, yes,
Is
Keith?
there any possibility of taking the trumpets out of the horn line on Friday? Because I wanted to have them Monday and Friday.
Why do you want a Monday and Friday? I mean, you're going Friday weekend to Monday. Would you be better to put your trumpets here on Wednesday?
Yeah, okay. If it'll fix
Is that okay? Okay, so horns and trumpets will come in here. Okay,
Can I have flutes Monday at 8?
Monday at 8 flutes, so we go 8 o'clock flutes.
We have commander meeting at noon on Monday.
Commanders, any conflicts on Monday? Commander meeting? Okay, commanders here.
Mr. Brockway.
Yeah.
Sox is Wednesday morning, 7:30.
7:30. Sacks. Anybody else need to get into the schedule this week? Bruce?
Monday,
When?
noon. And do you want to mix low brass?
You want to put the low brass in there with them?
Just do
You want tubas alone, low brass?
No, we're having
Okay, so we have tuba at noon. Anybody? Now, if your section needs to take a week off, that's fine too. You call it. Yes.
We need one Thursday at 8 for low brass.
Thursday at 8. Low brass. Low brass is anything that you would call a trombone or a baritone. We march only bell front king baritone, so we don't march trombone, so we just call it low brass. Okay, anybody else want to get into this schedule? Anybody want to be a pervert and go on Saturday? I'd like Saturday off myself. Can we take Saturday off?
Yeah.
All right, Saturday nothing. Anybody else need to get in here?
Clarinet's Monday after school.
I can't hear him, sorry.
Clarinet's Monday after school.
Clarinet's Monday after school. How late do you want to go?
Till 5.
To 5, okay? Anybody else? Anything else? Okay, would you please leave this on the board? Don't anybody erase it and get a copy down and get all the stuff passed out to your kids in your section so they have a copy of it. And if you do that by the end of the day, I appreciate it. Okay, any other scheduling mechanism that we have to do for this coming week? Good. Remember, this is Tuesday, and we're doing next week's schedule. On another blackboard is this week's schedule. This is next week's schedule, so that they know from Tuesday what their next week's schedule is. We're done with this part of the section leader meeting. It took that long. Any questions? Yes?
the flags on Tuesday, and this is January, so I figured you had.
We're in a guard room, and we have mirrors on one wall. We have a big room, the band room, and we've put mirrors on one wall. Yep. We don't do this until really February-ish. We don't use the gym. We use the band room, okay? But we finish contest in October. We only perform our show once, by the way. We don't have football games to perform at. We find a week that we go to Salem, Oregon, or Spokane, or Salt Lake, or wherever. We go out and do it, and we go for it, and we're done. Now that's bad because we can't come back and say, gee, now we need to work on this part of the show and make it better for next week. You guys can get to do that. We can't. We are a 9-hour drive from Spokane, Washington, which is our nearest contest site. We are a 15, 16-hour drive from Salt Lake. We're 20-some hours from Denver. How many hours did we travel last year, do you know, Greg, in order to get to Salem? 2 days. With an overnight. So that's what we have to do to go to contest. There are no contests anywhere near us. And so we can only get so much time out of school, and so we go and do it, and we do it once. We go into prelims, we pray a lot, and so far we've never been caught. We've always made finals. We've never had to sit and watch other bands, but that's a one-shot deal, and we try to pick contests where we can find the best bands. We do not want to go to contests, and there are different levels of contests with contests where they have flaky bands and contests where they have just the best ones. We go only to where the best ones are. We do not want a first-place trophy. We would rather be 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th among champions than first place among beginning bands. Any day of the week. And that affects the whole psychological attitude of our band. Remember, we're competing against ourselves. We're not competing against another band. Yes?
They're also scheduled during the day as a class.
No, we don't get them.
There is no organized band class.
There is an organized band class, but we only get about half the kids because the rest are in math, they're in science, they're in classes they need to graduate. And it depends. For example, at one period of time we lost our entire 10th grade because the entire 10th grade was scheduled into another class. The kids who are taking matriculation, we have matriculation and then general grad stuff. All our matric kids get caught in grade 10, 11, and 12, and they can't stay in band straight through. I mean, we might lose a kid for a year and get him back the next year. We might lose him this semester, get him back next semester. Have him this semester, lose him next semester. And so the dynamics of the band and band class is constantly changing. Several years ago, when we were not into this conflict, we could have 110 kids in the band room at a time and go out with 110 kids and do a concert. The best numbers we could muster this past year were 42, and the scheduling is getting bad. Some of you are under the same types of problems. Yes?
This time, let's take, for example, flags. Are they working on basics or the show?
Basics.
Okay. And then, when do you have, like, your flags try out? In the winter time?
We don't have flags try out.
Okay, they just come into it. And
Anybody, if you want to be a flag, you're a flag. We may have covered that before, but let's touch bases on it. You want to be in band? We have one rule. Is your body warm? We take anybody who wants to be in band and is willing to do this and is willing to pay the price, you're in band. If you cannot march and play at the same time, you're in band. If you have cerebral palsy, you're in band. If you're Down syndrome, you're in band. And those of you, we have some people in this room that have judged our band out in the field. And they know what it's like to go out there and they see a kid who, you look at him, they land. And they get back and the kid manages to keep up. I like to talk about Philip. I don't think there's a kid behind me who just doesn't love Philip enough to just about come into tears right now. Philip, when he was 2 years old, and I told this story last year, he was living with people who picked him up by his feet and slammed him into a wall because they couldn't stand to hear him cry. Crushed one whole side of his skull. He was to what, 6th grade? Something like that, in a wheelchair. And so he's in with foster parents now who have adopted him. But Philip, I don't know how he holds that trumpet, but Philip cannot march. And fortunately, they changed the rules. And they made this magical thing called the box out front where you put your grounded percussion equipment. Well, we ground Philip. And Philip stands there and he plays. And he plays about half the notes. He plays the easy ones. He goes. He's on the trip. He's part of the band. No kid is left home because of lack of ability or lack of funds. I will not wipe a Steve Brockway out of band. It happened to me 3 times. When we go to contest with the NBA judges, we come in between usually 68 and 72 points. I don't know why, but we know we're going to come in 68. We know we're not going to go over 72. We come in sitting right in there every time, with and without our Phillips. We also have our class valedictorians year after year after year. And that's one of the neat things about our program. One of the neat things about what you can do in your program. Do you ever notice there's a pecking order? Do you ever see a group of ducks and there's one that's got a little hair off its head and another with more hair off its head, and there's one with almost no feathers whatsoever because they've been pecking it to death? And you know that our kids are just as mean, and there's always got to be some kid that's the nerd, and it's going to be Chris, and we're going to get Chris, and we're going to punish Chris, and we're going to destroy that kid because it makes us feel better. Well, we teach these kids, and we teach the other kids who are just like them, that they have to extend themselves, and they show love, and they show compassion. Let's go into another mode of section. Let's answer that question more fully. Well, I know we're digressing, but it's an important point which will affect your whole attitude as a teacher, and it will affect why you're a teacher, and it will affect your band. Next attitude, and I'm going to use a real name, okay? Roxanne's having trouble, gang. Okay, what can we do? Roxanne is the sole survivor of a head-on car collision. Her parents and her family annihilated. She's crippled for the rest of her life. She can't walk a straight line. She's severely emotionally disturbed. Okay, what are we going to do? Anybody have any suggestions? Where can we use Roxanne? Bruce?
The percussion looks like they need an opening for the chime spot, and she doesn't have to do any marching, so maybe you could put her there.
Okay, chimes. Make sure you speak up so the mic can hear you. Okay, good. So we can use her on chimes. Now, we were going to put John on chimes. Where can we put John?
You put John in the bass drum line.
All right, is there room for him?
Yeah.
Okay, let's put John on bass. Let's move Roxanne to chimes. Now, Roxanne's going to have some trouble learning the music. Who's going to teach her? Can somebody pick up one-on-one? Okay, Terrell? Okay, so you'll have to double with your clarinet line, and you're going to have to get in there and teach Roxanne. Okay, you're going to have to teach Roxanne all her music also then, aren't you? Okay, can you find the time to do that?
Sure.
She's going to need a lot of time. Okay, good. Roxanne's in band. She's going to go on the trip. And we don't have videotapes here, but we have 3 years of Roxanne playing chimes. When you make a mistake on a chime, you hear it. And Roxanne goes out in the field. She walks out there. She's going to be crippled for life. Her pelvis was crushed. She stands there at her chimes. She plays those chimes. And you've got Roxanne's in your band, and your school, and you've got Phillips in your school. And we have one boy in front of us, and I don't even know if he knows who he is, who's dyslexic. And he's a section leader. And he's a good one. And I'm not going to mention a name right now. But they're all going, uh-oh, is it me? Okay? Da, 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 da. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we march them all. We have a school of 140 kids. It's been as high as 145. We march 135. We need everybody there. Because if we eliminate Philip, and we eliminate Roxanne, and we eliminate the others, what have we got left? I mean, are we going to go into an NBA level contest with 35 kids and even receive any credibility at all? No. And I don't want to spend all that time and effort, and I don't want to pump these kids up to go do that, when I know that if we utilize that talent pool, I mean, if we expand it and exploit it, are we exploiting Roxanne? Are we damaging her in any way? Where else is she going to be a hero? And when she comes off the field, and the trophy's that big at 6th place from Spokane, Roxanne owns just as much of that trophy as Kim, our commander. She owns just as much of that trophy. Philip owns just as much of that trophy. And the kids come up to me and they say, Mr. Brockway, can I borrow the trophies this weekend? I know why they want to borrow them. They take them into Lethbridge and they go to a photographer with the trophies all the way around them. You bet. You bet. We're building people. We're building people. We're not building bands. Horns, flags, rifles, hoops, boxes. What are the strange things we saw this morning? Anything. Those are all gimmicks. Band is a gimmick. Orchestra is a gimmick. Theater is a gimmick. Now, if you're an artist, you might want to argue with me. But if you're an educator, they're gimmicks. And they're gimmicks to reach inside kids and squeeze them by the guts so they have an experience which develops them and helps them become a better human being and a better parent. Because someday they're going to be parents and they're going to have kids who are going to be sitting in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, who are going to be looking at orchestra programs and theater programs and band programs. And we are, I'm going to be redundant now, programming these kids to have successful experiences so that they can pass that on to their children. And you know right now, Chris, if I wipe you out of my band because you're a nerd, for whatever reason, your kids are not going to be in band because you had such a bad experience with it when you were in high school. And just think that thought through. Okay. Have we beat that to death enough? Can we go on to... I keep hitting that. That's my swan song. You know, I need a soapbox, Larry, that's about 17 feet tall. But anyhow, that's beside the point. Okay. Any other questions that come to mind? And then we'll go on to the next aspect of section leader. Remember, when we deal in generalities, little is accomplished. Now, I have not rehearsed these kids on what we're going to do next, and they think we're going to do something, but we're not. We're going to do something wrong, gang. Now, they don't have any idea what we're going to do wrong, and they're going to feed off my questioning, okay? Lousy section leader meeting coming up. Here it goes. Well, how's it going?
Fine.
Good. Everything going okay in your section? Yeah?
Pretty well.
Good. Okay. How's it going with the commanders, Michelle?
No, just fine.
Yeah? Okay. Any problems?
No.
No? Okay. You see the problem? I mean, what are we talking about? I haven't asked any questions. They haven't given me any answers. We haven't said anything to each other. All we're doing is buck passing because we're too defensive about our own roles, because I really don't want to know, number one, and number two, they don't really want to tell me. All right? Section leader meeting. Flutes, report, please.
Okay, pass-off is coming along well, and we're still
How
having-
well? What percentage?
I don't know.
Okay, would you find out and report by the end of the day?
Okay, and we're still having some problems with the younger kids with foot and music coordination.
Okay.
They're playing and their feet are going one way and they're playing wrong.
Okay. How are you solving it?
Well, we're doing scales, the whole notes, and then we're teaching them to march with it.
Okay.
And then we're putting the music
Who are the kids that are the two that, let's say, are behind the most? Do we have any that's going to be really in trouble in the field?
No, it's just our two youngest.
Okay. Now, who's on them?
Mallory
Okay. And?
and me.
Okay. And how's it going?
It's going good. They're doing better. They've gotten better since we started.
How often are you meeting with them?
Twice a week.
Okay. And are the meetings taking place?
Mhm.
The kids are coming on time?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Specific questions, specific answers. She has the answers. There's a report mechanism. Now, how can you help Julie do a better job with whatever she's doing? You're teaching Julie, aren't you now? Okay? And Julie's having trouble. How can you help Julie do a better job? And I'm just going to wave this yellow sheet of paper at you. How can you help Julie improve those skills, that hand-to-foot coordination or whatever it is? How can you help her?
Okay, we can find out what the problem is and then set a goal and set a time that we're going to have like we'll say she's going to have something done at a certain time, and then we'll go to that time, we'll work on it, and then at the end of the time limit, then we'll go back and see if she accomplished her goal, and if she did, then we'll set a new goal, and if she didn't, then we'll figure out why she didn't, and then reset it.
Okay, good. Now we're going to come back to this goal setting thing, and we have a chart. Okay? The name of the kid, the goal that he sets, the date he writes it, the target date he wants to complete that goal, his self-evaluation at target date, and then the director or the section leader or the commander in charge evaluates the goal, and then together they agree whether the goal is accomplished. We can give you this for close-ups later. We can agree whether we're going to continue with the goal, or whether we're going to reset the goal, or whether the goal is accomplished and we can move on to another one. And some kids work with maybe 4 or 5 or 10 or 15 of these simultaneously, depending upon the level of expertise and commitment in the band and the level of responsibility. We'll talk more about this in a little while. Clarinets, report, please.
We have about from 55 to 60% of the music passed off.
You'll have to speak up, Cherise.
Okay. We have 55 to 60% of our music passed off.
Okay, what was your goal at this point?
To have 65.
65, so you're down just a little bit? Okay.
Okay. And we're having problems with Marianne, so we need to. I think we need more sectional work on it, and hopefully maybe you could come in and help us one time.
Okay, is there a personality conflict with her tutor?
Oh, the song.
Oh, the song. Oh, okay. See, we're say this is hypothetical. Okay, we're having trouble with Marianne, so we need to get in and work on the section.
Yeah.
Okay. When would you like me there? Do you want me there this coming week, or do you want me there some other time? When do you want it?
This Monday. This coming.
You want me this particular Monday? Good. Okay, be glad to do it. Any other problems that come up?
No.
Everything else is going according to the goal schedule?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as we look over here at the chart, these kids call sections. I don't go to the sections. They teach the section lead. The section leaders teach their sections. They do that. Now we have commanders. I'm working with the commanders. The tubas have their own thing. We have the French horns and the trumpets, and there are 2 trumpet section leaders because we have so many trumpets, and we have a maximum of 7 kids per 1 section leader. So there are 3 units going on at once at noon on Thursday. Okay? I don't even have to be there. I can go eat lunch. They run it. They do it. They report back. Report back. Okay, Saxons, report, please.
Tutoring's going pretty well, but Sally Mae's having trouble with Samuel because he just doesn't want to do anything hardly.
Sam doesn't want to work.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, well, he's awful young. Do you have a suggestion?
Well, I've talked to him, but he just doesn't seem to want to do anything. I don't know what it is.
Does anybody know something I don't?
Is he having trouble at home?
I don't know. Okay.
Maybe we should get to know him. and find out what he's
Okay,
like.
go back to Sam again one more time and try to find something that you can really praise him on, something that you can goose him on.
Okay.
Try to get in with the tutor with him for the next time, okay? And spend some time and observe and see if you can pick up on it, whether it's just attitude problem or maybe maybe it's just fear. Maybe he's just afraid that he can't do it and that fear is keeping him. Maybe it's a fear block or something like that. Try to perceive what the problem is and then when is the next time that they meet?
Tuesday.
Okay, by or Wednesday morning, would you report back to me and then we'll have a private evaluation on that.
Okay.
Good, trumpets.
Okay. We've got a goal of 60% pass off, and we reached 67 just last week.
Good shot.
Okay, the first trumpets are doing just great. Everything's just going fine. We've got all our charts passed off except for Dawn, and she just missed one rehearsal.
Okay.
So she's having trouble with that one. Second trumpets, they're all having trouble with the third chart. So we need you to get in there and help us with the third chart with the seconds and
Okay, do you want me to work with the section leaders who in turn reteach, or do you want me to work right with the kids?
I'd like to have you there to help us.
Okay, with the kids. I want to stop right now, and I'd like to take this piece of paper. Oops. And this is what they all have. Now, they'll all draw them up in their own format. And they have their attendance reported, they have what the kids' goals are down, whether the kid achieves the goals, whether the kid has flunking out in the goals, whether the tutor is getting in on time, whether the kid's coming from the other way and meeting the tutor. The section leader has a control of this. We have section leader meetings every Tuesday. Therefore, it all has to be reported into the section leader by Monday after school. Do you see the control mechanisms that are working? Yes?
Does your assistant section leaders ever come to the section leader meeting?
They're at all section leader meetings. Assistant section leader meetings. The assistant section leader, for all practical purposes, is a section leader. Okay, low brass.
As a whole, everything's going real good, just a couple of problems.
You have to speak up to the mic.
Okay. Steven's tutoring Brad, he wasn't calling any sectionals, and when he did, he showed up. So I went and talked to Steven, and I says that we need this many for each week, and he agreed on it. And so he's called him, and I just have to wait to see how that turns out.
Okay, would you make sure that you're really on top of it so that you can report next week, so we need to make adjustments if we have to. Any others?
Yeah, music pass-off is behind. It's
How far behind?
about 10%.
Okay. Can you work on your own personal goal charts and touch bases with each of your tutors so that we start solving some of those problems? Maybe your tutors, talk to your tutors in terms of goal sheets and have them write them out and report to you so that things start coming up. Okay? Good. Well, tuba.
Generally it's half good, half bad. As far as music pass-off, we're up around 60%, but me and John make up most of the 60%, because Dan, he's really a self-starter, he's really a go-getter, but then when when his feet are out, he's out with the music, and his music is out with his music. And
Is his retention getting better? You told me a couple weeks ago he's having trouble remembering. Is his retention getting better?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Concentrate now on notes and concentrate on retention. The staccato scale with mouth hand to foot coordination. Have him just keep doing that, and I think he'll grow out of the note to foot coordination. If you talk about that too much, he's going to get paranoid on it. Okay, so pull back there, and instead work on notes and have him drill that scale, because that'll teach him that. And if necessary, so to increase the learning speed, try to add 50% more instruction time if you can.
Okay.
Okay? Good.
And Rob.
Okay.
He's, I don't know, he's being tutored by John.
And
John sets the time, and Rob's only been there once, as far as I know, as far as I
Okay, have
known.
you talked to Rob?
I've talked to John, and I've talked to Rob and some of his friends, just in passing as I've been talking to him. And they say he has troubles in classes too. And I think he needs something to really get him motivated and excited before he'll work on it.
Okay. Do you want to handle that, or do you want me to handle it?
I'm not sure what he does. As far
Okay,
as
get back to me, think about it, sleep on it, come back to me tomorrow morning, and then let me know what you want to happen, okay? If you want me to step in, I will. Okay. Percussion.
Doug, he seems to have some kind of a problem. He's in grade 12 and he doesn't want to listen to someone who's younger than him, and he just thinks that I'm a know-nothing, and he doesn't. Whenever I turn around to go work with another part of the section, he always sits down and he's fooling around and he's always disturbing stuff, and he never really.
Have you squared with him one-on-one, alone?
Yeah, I have. I've said I asked him one time why he does all this to me, and he just says, "Well, I think you're really young, and I don't think you really know as much as I do." He thinks he should be section leader.
Okay. Let me set up a meeting with the three of us. Okay. And don't say anything to him, and let me set it up, and I'll coordinate it. And the rest of you guys be quiet on it, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And Karen, she has a lot of trouble getting her hand to foot coordination together.
Okay.
She one day she'll come in and she'll do it just fine. Next day she'll come in and she won't be able to do anything. And I don't know.
Okay, compare it to a month ago. Is it improving or is it staying?
Yeah, it's getting better. A month ago, I didn't think she was going to make it, but she's getting.
Okay, it's a natural growing thing. She'll just come out of that. Okay, give her time. And if she doesn't make it by fall, she'll make it by the next year. Okay, but I think again, if you talk to her about that too much, she'll start thinking about that, and she'll lose it here too. I'm assuming the drum's okay.
Yeah.
It's the feet you're concerned
the
about.
feet are-
Okay, let her. That's a growing up thing. Let her grow into it.
Okay, and one last problem. Rich beat Brad out of the last quad position, and Brad is very resentful, and Brad's always tearing down Rich, and he says, "Oh well, if Rich makes one mistake, Brad's the first one to go, you made a mistake," and bother him about it, and Rich starts to get mad, and Rich starts to yell back at him, and I gotta tell him to be quiet.
All right, I'll handle that one too.
Okay.
I'd like you there for it. And I'll set it up and we'll do it. Okay, and that's another one that I don't want to get back to the kids before we've handled it, okay? Good. Any other problems that I don't know about that we need to talk about? Yes?
What about the horns?
Oh, sorry, horns. Horns?
Right here.
Go.
Okay, music pass-off is lower than I wanted it, about 8%, 9%.
You're at 8%?
No.
Oh, I had a heart attack.
No.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, Brian's having troubles, and I know that it's home. I know that it's with his parents. I don't know what to do. Like he's slow in everything. He's just kind of
What's happening in class?
same thing.
Okay, let me deal with that one too, okay?
Okay. Tutoring's going fine. Everything's like they're coming to the practices. Everyone's pretty serious about it.
Okay. So everything else, except for that one, we're okay? And guard, Marilu?
Okay, Andrea needs a tutor for flutes to get her music passed off.
Key comment, they can't hear you, first of all, you have to speak up. Andrea needs a tutor in flute to get her music passed off. The kids who are in band play flutes or play clarinet, or in guard, play horns in concert season. They pass off the music as if they were on instruments in addition to doing rifle and flag. Questions? Yes, sir. I'm sorry, didn't hear you.
Do you keep track of how many people you're going to see the next day?
Oh, yeah, the next thing that they do is they turn in a piece of paper to me that they are reporting. They're going to report to me, or I am keeping track that I will report to them, and the reporting does take place the next day. We do it. You bet. It has to. The report mechanism is the key to it happening. Without the report mechanism, it breaks down, and then it just becomes the cat chasing his tail. The report mechanism is what makes it happen and raises the level. Not only that, but every kid knows his progress is going to be reported at section leader meeting. And if his progress is inadequate, it's going to come back to him through me. Now, how it comes back is something we'll get into if hopefully we have time today. Yes?
How much extra time do your section leaders actually put in beyond the normal average band member?
The normal average band member. Those of you who put in a minimum of 2 hours a week extra stand. A minimum of 2 hours a week extra stand. Those of you who put in a minimum of 4 hours a week extra stay standing. Those of you who put in a minimum of 6 hours a week extra remain standing. Okay? Those of you who put in a minimum of 8 hours a week extra stay standing. Okay, there you go. The kids all have copies of the charts, and we do symmetrical drills, butterfly drills, so everybody has a partner on the other side of the field. With junior high kids, it is suicide to do asymmetrical drills. Hint, junior high kids cannot conceptualize it, okay? So we do butterfly drills, so everything's symmetrical, everybody has a partner. We have a maximum of 7 students for each section leader. And that section leader is responsible for teaching those 7 students. Okay, Bruce has been a tuba section leader with 3 other tubas. You've been a section leader, Bart. There are 12 in the low brass line. There are 2 section leaders in the low brass line, 1 section leader, honchos, 5 other kids. So Bart's job is to know the drill for himself and those 5 other kids. And we'll say, good, teach the next 32 counts. And I'll go around and I'll help make the sets. Yep, that's it, there's the set there. And I'll work on the butterfly side of the drill. They're working on the other side. Then we've got to get one side looking like the other. Good, let's go back through those 32 counts. But there are only 14 here, but we really have about 20 kids assisting in teaching the drill. The section leader, the commander, at any time can say, stop. Stop means stop in our band. You can yell, scream, shout, instruct. We call it side coach. And if they're playing, you have to shout louder to be heard. Nothing means stop except stop. And when stop is called, everything stops. And if something's going wrong over here in the saxes, the sax section leader can say, stop. And it all shuts down. What's the problem? We need 3 minutes. Good. Take your 3 minutes. The rest of you rehearse the last 64 counts without playing. And so they'll work in those 16 counts that they haven't gotten in yet. Everybody else goes back and rehearses the last 64, and then when they're ready, good, let's go back and put it together again. We work that way a lot. I move around the field, coordinating the section leaders, asking questions if they have them and that type of thing. Their job is basically to put it in. And the closer we get to production, the closer we get to mid-rehearsal, the more intense the section leader role becomes. The closer we get to production, such as a week before it, my role is rapidly eclipsing. I'm being eclipsed by the commanders. And it isn't until the final dress rehearsals are the section leaders told, you must stay in section as a performer now. You may no longer step out of section. Until then, sometimes they'll go through a week of rehearsals and never march their slot. All they're doing is working with their kids for a whole week. And at the times we have to say, section leaders, come on, you got to learn your parts too, get in there. So they sometimes want to hang out too long. They're so eager and capable in doing their jobs and helping their kids. Because you know, some of you have tried to march 7th graders and they've been on their horns for 6 months and they're struggling with playing and marching at the same time, and their heads are just sort of... 7th graders have an ability to turn their heads all the way around. Did you notice that? Yes, ma'am.
What's the role of your commanders? Section leaders seem to carry the ball. What do your commanders actually do?
The section leaders carry the ball. The commanders work with me. They're my liaison on the field with the section leaders. For example, we've got a real mess over here in stage right. I use theater directions, okay? So I have a real mess over here. So we've got to go over here to work this out, and I'll say, Kim, do you understand the problem? And she'll say, yeah, okay, you go fix it over there, I'll go fix it over here. So we go to the section leader where the trouble is, and we say, the sets are off, let's align it. So the section leaders stay with me. The commanders stay with their sections. What did I say? Backwards, it's the first day with my new tongue. The stitches haven't healed yet. Okay. We have used 2 commanders until last year, and we went to 4. And we had a 5th one, which was decoration on the cake because of a strange situation. But now we're stabilized at 4 commanders. Our commanders are performing commanders.
Are the commanders during a concert season also? How does this carry over? I know
they become more section leaders during the concert season. They function as section leaders in concert. Yes, sir.
One question.
How much weight do the kids themselves put on competition, and how do they feel when they come out of competition and maybe didn't do as well as they would like to have done, or something like that?
Well, I think that we put as much emphasis on competition as any other band. We're a band too. We want to do good. We have pride in our band, and we want to do as good as we can. Like last year at Salem, at our Pacific Coast Invitational prelims, I don't know, I thought we did really bad. I couldn't believe I couldn't play anything. I don't know what it was, but it was the rain. But it was, but you know, we were just, you know, if there was a wall handy, we all just run straight into it. It was that bad. We all just mad. And you know, the section leaders went around. I guess we kind of had a meeting, and we figured out, yeah, we didn't do too bad, I guess. And you just think about it and analyze it, and then we went around to the rest of the band and said, it's all right, you know, we'll come back, you know, hopefully we'll make finals, and we'll come back and do better. And when we instilled that in everybody, you know, we're going to do better, it happened, and we did better in the finals. And so, you know, we put as much emphasis on competition as anybody else. That's what I think.
And okay, well, you want to talk about that? While you're doing that, would you erase the board? Okay. Go.
Our main thing is that we want to compete against our band. If we want to progress from year to year. We want to be better than our band was last year so we go somewhere and we have a big goal, but we set little goals, like we're going to make our time better this year. Next year we're going to do our wheels better. We have to make those goals to achieve our bigger goals.
Step by step. Okay. What bands do we compete against?
Ours.
Yeah.
Past bands.
Ours. We compete against ourselves. We don't say, hey, that band from such and such a place is going to be there and we're going to go beat them. That's a football mentality. We don't play football with our band. We compete only against ourselves, and we go out and we try to do the best show we possibly can to entertain our audience, get that audience on its feet, and if we don't get that audience on its feet at least 3 times during our show, we feel we failed. And that's our only goal. Let the scores fall where they may. Let the placements fall where they may. If they come in high, great. If they come in low, well, not so great, but we're only competing against ourselves and what we've done. Good, very well done, Sharice. I appreciate that. You're going to learn about praise. You're going to learn about goal setting and how we use it. You're going to learn about reprimands, how, when, and why, or to redirect into retraining or re-goal setting. We're going to teach you the ABCs, and we're going to teach you how to pay the price. And that's all our in-service training. All that stuff may be absolute gobbledygook to you right now, but that's training the section leader. See, we've talked today about what basically a section leader does, but now knowing what a section leader does doesn't mean anything unless you know how to train him to get him to do the job. Remember we said nobody can do his job unless he knows how to do it? The continuation of this meeting is how specifically to train that section leader so he becomes a functional, capable leader.